Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday live show. Good morning, Lucy.
Good morning, Tina. I ran out of coffee creamer at the house, and we have this stuff that's just god awful. So I got a pumpkin spice, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. And it definitely has given me the caffeine kick because I didn't sleep good. I had dreams of fighting zombies. So I was winning though. I don't know. I was not. I was restless or something. We watched that new one, The Last of Us, or I'm calling it Fungus Among Us, but anyhow, it's just very intense. Very intense. But good morning, it's Friday. It's Friday the 20th. And
Yes.
we are trying to wrap up our goals and our polling and our analyzing and all of that stuff. And we break it down into kind of chunks. So my first kind of chunk, if you take January and you break it down into a few weeks, my first week is like to pull all my numbers from 2022, pull what worked, what didn't work, mull things over, and start to outline how I want 2023 to go for the next 6 months. And some of those activities are going through different, I don't know what to call them, like processes of analyzing and
Hmm.
jotting down and mapping out. And we also do things like rearrange the office. That's our time where we can pull everything apart, rearrange, restructure. It gives the office a fresh vibe, get us motivated for going in. We fix things that aren't really working. We add things that are. I usually do one piece of equipment purchase towards the end of the year. And this year it was my air bubble machine, which I'm really loving. One year it was a scanner. So, it's my time of the year where I'm going to go, okay, what piece of equipment would help my business the most that I want to just put a little bit of money back into my business. It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small. It could be a new vacuum cleaner, a candle, some pretty
Sometimes
fancy.
it's a necessity. Like for me this year, it was two new computers.
Yeah, sometimes it's big.
Mm.
I mean, that was huge, huge. Um, Absolutely, absolutely. So Tina and I have been working hard and going through kind of pulling all our numbers and everything. And we're going to share with you today some of the past 2022 stuff, some of how we're doing goals going into 2023, and all of this to help you inspire or give you kind of a roadmap on, maybe you see how we do it and it's never going to be like one for one. You should never compare yourself to us or anybody but yourself. But if you see that, okay, this is how they mapped out a goal and I've never mapped out a goal, maybe it will help you with that. So I'm super excited. This is a fun one. This is my funnest, funnest video out of all the videos we do during the year is the one where we talk about goals.
I think it's because it gives you hope. And January is the whole month of January for most of us is really a clearing out time.
Mm-hmm.
For people who do the New Year's resolutions, we are putting away our Christmas decorations. And by now, hopefully, you have put them away. And getting numbers ready for taxes, things that we've been talking about a little bit repetitively this month of January, but it's something that takes for me, and I know for you too, really an entire month because in between doing these things, we are still running our businesses and working.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
mhm,
Well, and I like to look at things and kind of mull it over. So I'll go over to like,
yeah.
we'll just say my poly bags, and I'll look at the shelf that has all my poly bags, and I'll go, what's my biggest gripe here? Okay, it is because when I look at the stupid boxes, they say 10 by 13, and they don't tell me whether it's clear or white, because I run white bags for shipping out, and I run clear bags for packing. So what could we do? Well, we could just take a marker and put a C or a W on them, or my packer came up with this because I gave the task to her. She came up with all the clear on this shelf and all the whites are on this shelf. And I went, okay. I mean, it's different. It's not the way I would do it, but I have to be okay with that. And it absolutely bothers me. but it is organized. It's just not organized the way I would do it. And so I'm trying to, let go of some of that control, be a little bit more comfortable, letting go of the control there.
Whoever
And
uses it the most wins.
huh?
Whoever uses it the most wins.
And it came down to that. I'm like, okay, well, they've been very good. I have them especially this last year, we had a huge come to Jesus stock in the summer. If you're running low on something, put it on the board so I can order it. And there was a couple of times in the last 6 months where they'd be like, okay, we've stopped production because we don't have any more bags. Why didn't you tell me that when you pulled the last pack? Like, really, I could have ordered it. And now you go to Amazon and you order, and there's been so many times where Amazon's like, and now we're delayed on delivery. And if you delay me by 3 days, that's a huge impact to my business. Okay, I shouldn't be letting bags run this big of an impact. How can we stop that? So I don't know. We've been doing better. We haven't run out of anything since, I don't know, at least October that I know of. All of Q4 we were pretty good on having supplies. But I go over back to the point. I go over to that shelf. Is it working? Is it not? Do I see any major upgrades? Okay, yeah, I needed it to be organized, so I gave that to my packer. She organized it, and we have the system in place, the flow in place. So I kind of go around to each of those areas in my office and say, is this area working? Is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? Can it be improved? And most of the time it's like, nope, 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 nope. And then you have a few that just nag you, right? And there's always that corner of the room that you're like, oh my God, this is bothering me. In this day and time right now, it's my office because I'm rearranging my office right now. And anyhow, I don't like the way things were stored, so I'm revamping it. But you focus on a couple of those and you get that area then working for you. And let me tell you, it gives you a boost of motivation. It is satisfying because if something's a thorn in your side, it just nags at you. At least for me, it does. I know you've wanted to redo your office, right?
Yeah, so we have sort of two offices. The one I'm sitting in right now, this is the room that annoys me to no end. And then we have another office in our house. So our house has a lot of space. And so we have two different offices for different reasons. So, yes, I'm almost done with the other one. And then this room is my next project.
There's nothing, at least for me, and I'm kind of a dork this way, but when you revamp an area and it goes from your biggest disappointment to your most favorite spot, it's so nice.
Satisfying, yes. And we
Yes.
all have death piles, and sometimes they're visually in our viewpoint, and we know we need to deal with them, and they nag at us and nag at us. You could have a designated, neat area for your death pile, whatever it is.
Well, and sometimes what helped me, especially when at one point I had kind of a larger size, and sitting there staring at it all the time was just like a negative vibes.
Mhm.
So what I did was I took 5 items and then I put the rest away, out of visual sight, whether that's put a blanket on it or move it to another room or whatever, but took those 5 items and put them on my desk. Then it wasn't so overwhelming. I'm like, okay. And then I'd knock out those 5, and getting that little thing accomplished then motivated you, okay, next week I'm going to do another 5. And then the next week I'm going to do another 5. So
Yes. And you
sometimes it's like
slowly
that.
get it done, and you're not spending a whole day on it. And that's a really great way to do tasks too. I know you
Yeah.
have a lot of slides that we worked on. Lucy set up most of them this morning as I had a rough night sleeping. But we have a lot of really great topics to talk about today.
Were zombies getting you?
No, they were not. I just struggle with sleep, as many of you
Oh,
know. And
yeah.
good morning, Nate. I see you over there. And Reno, I see you. Thank you for joining us this morning, you guys.
Yes. I love motivational stuff, and I like to have my feeds kind of dominate that. I've really found this last year, kind of a tangent thing and an explanation why we have them in here. As you grow in this business, you're going to want to surround yourself with people that are inspirational, motivational, business like-minded. You do not want to surround yourself with downers, poo-poo heads. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. Probably poo-poo heads is not the best term, but those people that are always complaining and negative and not, I mean, we all have bad days, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about they just have a bad mental focus and they are not inspirational. But the same goes for your social media. My social media is filled with things like this because as I go through, you can train Facebook to feed you what you want. So my feed is 90% my BOLO groups, my bundle groups, and positive memes, inspirational memes. So when I look at it, I get inspired, I get my work done. I get to interact with my group and my peoples, and I'm surrounding myself by like-minded individuals who are enthusiastic about life, about accomplishing, about getting, gung-ho, and not drama and just stuff that's I don't care about, like
Yeah,
I don't.
because you want to be around people that lift you up, not bring you down. It's like
Yeah,
when you're a kid and your mother tells you, you are what you hang around. Are they, implementing what you want to be? Are their actions aligning with your belief system? And this is very important in our life. And sometimes we got to cut the cord with certain people or conversations.
oh yeah, I have nobody from our groups, but family, family and friends. You can choose to snooze people or not have them show up in your feed, but still remain friends in Facebook, which is great because I had some that every single time they posted it was, oh, my husband's such a jerk and my best friend is such a jerk and my family's drama, blah blah blah. I don't care. Like, I'm sorry, but this is Facebook. It's not a place to air out your dirty laundry. And if you're using it for that, I don't have to be part of that because that's not what I use it for. And to each their own, they can do that if they want. If that helps them vent, then so be it. But I don't have to be the recipient of that. So,
And I love what this says about ignoring what everyone else is doing and achieving. Your life is about breaking your own limits. Plan to outdo your past, not other people. And this is so true and so powerful. Look, there are people who get triggered in the negative, and there are people who get triggered in the positive. Let's say, for instance, if people are sharing their numbers, like, oh, look how much I sold this month. I'm really crushing it. I really outdid last year or last month. And for some people, they're a cheerleader, like, oh my God, that's so inspiring. That really motivates me. For other people, those same kind of posts are a trigger. Like, how come they're able to do that and I've been doing this for so long, and I'm so far behind them. For other people, that can, be a negative trigger. Now, that doesn't make you wrong for posting it. But again, the point of that is that with this post is that you need to worry about you and what you're achieving. Don't worry about what they are achieving. I mean, while that's great, you need to focus on you and your own goals and your own limitations and only outdoing you. If you are doing your best, then that's fantastic.
exactly. I fall into this trap. I'll be honest here. If I see somebody post and they're like, I went from 0 to 300,000 in sales in 6 months, I get turned off by that because I struggled. It took me a long time to get there. And I sit there and I look at it, I'm going, well, what did I do wrong? Why are they more successful? What are they doing? And what you don't see behind social media is, how they did it, what they're doing. Maybe it can be inspirational, but for me, when I see it and I just see that first blurb, I don't have good fuzzy feels about it. It makes me feel bad about my
See?
performance.
See, and that's what I'm saying. It can trigger people one way or the other. And I see in the comments that B is listening while she's working, and Kate is doing her laundry and listening. And that's the love that great thing about these lives is that you can multitask. It gives you something to listen to that hopefully is inspiring and motivates you while you're working. I love multitasking.
So this slide is all of Tina's, and I absolutely loved it. I'm going to let you go through it.
Yeah, so I messaged Lucy this morning that these are some great topic talking points. This is my literal message to her. I have to put on my reading glasses here. And um, my thought was for those of you watching, if you have already ran your numbers and stats for 2023 and you're ready to adjust your focus and set intentions going into 2023, then today let's discuss mindset and mental focus with intentions for setting yourself up for success. And what I mean by that is when you run your numbers and your stats for 2023, that means all of your income goal or your income producing activities, whether you're gathering your numbers from eBay, Etsy, Amazon, if you do all three of those, don't forget about those little things. I have KDP for Amazon Kindle. I have a couple books that I put up years ago, little small things, and I make roughly $20 a month. It's very small money, but I'm counting those numbers. All of that adds up. And so once you add all of that up and running your numbers and your stats from Inventory Lab, just all the things that you want to know what you really accomplished in 2023 in regards to numbers, what you have accomplished in your personal life. Sometimes you don't realize you accomplished as much as you did until you sit down and write those things down and focus on that. Everything that you accomplished in 2022, let's see how you can expand on that and grow that going into 2023 to set yourself up for success. Not comparing it to what other people did in 2022, not piggybacking off what they accomplished because that was their goal. That might have fed their soul and brought them happiness, but doesn't bring you happiness. This is all about you, not me, not Lucy, you. And then here are 6 ways to use intention setting to elevate your business goals and really your personal goals as well. Is you can create a vision board for people who like to do that. And a vision board could be pictures that you cut out of magazines, things you print off the internet, what you desire, and you can put that on a wall in your office. Your vision board could just be written word. If all you want to do is write the things down. It could be drawings. It doesn't matter. It's yours. Schedule a monthly intention setting party. You're going to recap. These were my intentions for 2023. Is this working for me still this month? Does it still bring me joy? Do I still like it? Am I headed in the right direction? Why or why not? Outlining your ideal day as CEO, because you are the CEO. You are the CEO of your business. You are the CEO of your day-to-day activities. And choosing a word of the week can be powerful. It may be the word of the week is, I'm not going to compare myself to others. Well, that's really a sentence. Your word of the week may be self-esteem. Your word of the week may be, I don't know, throw one at me, Lucy. No drama.
Yeah, no drama.
And claim your superpower. What are you good at? I am good at creating bundles. I'm not the great at advertising campaigns. I'm not bad at it, but I know where my superpowers lie. And visualize yourself in 5 years. Now, this is an old one, but it is a true one. And are you on track to where you see yourself in 5 years? Is that quitting your job? Is that retiring? Is that having a certain home? Visualize this and visualize you taking these steps to getting to where you want to be. It's programming your mind, and it's programming your mind also to set your trajectory on positive thinking and positive actions.
And so I love everything on here. I just want to throw out there that for like the vision board and the intention setting party, it can be definitely, if you have a group of friends or a group of like-minded or a business partner like Tina, who is amazing, it could be, chatting with them one day over coffee. Absolutely. Or if that's not your cup of tea or your cup of coffee, I sometimes will just go out and go fishing. And during that time, I will write down in my phone, in my notes, like what's working, what's not, and just enjoy the nature and get some grounding done and get some, connection to nature and all of that, while kind of thinking, what is my vision and my intentions, and are they good or bad? And it doesn't have to be a very long time or whatnot, but it can look like many different things out there. I mean, I have conversations with my dogs all the time because they're great listeners. They are amazing. But, if you want to make it formal, I've done that too, where I formally write out my numbers and what my goals are and what I'm working on and sit down with my husband, because then he gets some insight on what I do all day. Because sometimes he's like, I don't know what you do all day. And if I sit down, I'm like, okay, I was working on this and working on that, and I had this and this. It allows him to get insight into what I'm doing and appreciate that and understand that. And then it also allows me to kind of bounce ideas off him and reaffirm what's working and kind of maybe say, hey, I have this idea, or I had this vision. What do you think about it? Is that a this year thing, or maybe it's next year thing? Is it doable? Is it not doable? Am I completely full of it? I've done that. Here's where I'm at. Do you think this is a good goal or not? Is it too far out? You can go from you certainly can go from 10,000 sales a month to 200,000 sales a month, but is that really realistic for your situation? Most of us know it's not. But can you go from 10,000 to 12,000? Probably. So anyhow, having those people to bounce those ideas off of and whatnot can look like a lot of different things. I did love also, we had a comment up here. Kate says, when you're
Yes.
other people's stuff, you also don't see their margins and their kids. Oh my gosh, this one hit home for me, Kate, because
Yeah.
see those guys who are like 23 years old and they've got no wife, no kids, no responsibilities. They don't pay really any bills because they're living at home, and they're like, we just go out for a week sourcing at a time. Okay, well, I can't. That's great for you, but not applicable for me. All right. One of the things that we did at the beginning of, well, probably the last week of December, first week, is we wrote down like, what do we need to pull? So this is a conversation with Tina. Tina, what do we need to pull for 2022?
And I did not pull any of this numbers until last week. So, if you guys are a little behind too, it's okay. January's not over. I finally got mine pulled last week where I put them on my Google sheet.
These are just like what we want to pull and what we want to look at. And there's definitely things that we were like, no, we don't need to look at that. There's some things that you do want to look at, some things you don't. If you want to copy this, like if you're starting at ground zero and you need a roadmap, that's why we share it here. But we pulled our sales accomplishments. I needed to know the average sale price, profit per item, cost of goods to run forecasting, which is going to be done in this next week. We're going to be forecasting. And then I always run a return analysis, because when you're looking at your sales, you want to kind of at least know what your average return is and make sure that it's not going up or down year over year. I wish I had tracked this year over year, but you want to kind of what your returns are going to be. And then sales reports by ACE and category and store. I did this heavily the last I'll say 2 weeks, give or take, and know where your good ones are, where your bad ones are, and start cutting the fat.
Yes, people, please pull these reports. Please look at your story. Some of you might be afraid to look at it. Don't. Please just look. You may be disappointed, and you may not be. You may be surprised, like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought. But please do this.
Mm-hmm. So these are the numbers that we felt were super important for focusing on 2023. What do we need to know to start forecasting for 2023?
Yeah.
You can't just
and
go
those.
you can't just go and be like, I'm going to make $1 million this year. Well, really? Okay, how are we going to do that? You need these numbers to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Did you
Your
have anything
accomplishments? No, I was just going to say that sometimes when you pull your numbers and you're disappointed in what you see or what you do, sometimes that can be a great motivator and a great driver for you. So don't be afraid to face the facts. Good morning, Swamp Picker. And I don't know who Facebook user you are, but I do want to quickly point out that they say, yep, seeing high schoolers getting into reselling. What was I doing with my life back then? Well, for me, the internet did not exist back then. So me, I was chasing boys and going to the beach.
Fun times. So I wanted to jot these down. And again, all of these parts take some time. I just write out a list on Tina and I have a Google sheet that we share. And I write out, Lucy's accomplishes 2022. Tina wrote out the same. And so during the week, I kind of have that sheet in my area on one of my tabs. I got, 50,000 tabs up, but and as things come to my mind, I go over and I jot them down. So that way, when I sit down with Tina and I can really look at what did I accomplish in 2022, I'm not going derpy derp. I used to try and keep this on a monthly basis. It didn't do well this year. I failed keeping it on a monthly way. But if you want to have a journal, I've got a journal that sometimes I jot this stuff down in. But keep track of your accomplishments, because that can be very motivational. When I look back at my year and I'm going, what the heck did I do all year? Oh, yeah, I was actually really busy this year. I did a lot of things. I accomplished quite a bit. I'm here to pat myself on the back during this time and say, wow, I can do it. It makes me feel more confident going into the next year, saying, okay, if I did this, then I certainly can do this next year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we wanted to go through any of them Was there anything you wanted to touch on or add
No,
to this?
because a lot of mine were the same as yours, and some of them
Mhm.
are yours alone. Obviously, I didn't have a son I sent off to college, and I didn't take an accounting class. But these are your personal things, but a lot of mine are in conjunction with yours because we do a lot of these things together.
Right. I did want to touch on two specifically. One was feedback 5. I know I put that in here somewhere, but right here, feedback 5. I had a goal earlier this year in June, and my goal was to figure out if reviews would help with my private label and my bundles or not. Was the time dedicated trying to hone in on because the thought was if I spend an hour a week getting more reviews for my bundles, would that in turn give me more sales for the bundles, making it worth the time I spent in there? So if you spend an hour a week, and we'll say, I don't know, you value yourself at $20 an hour, that's 20, 40, 60, 80 hours, or $80 a month of work going into these reviews. What is that? If you averagely say, we'll just say $4 of profit per item, does it result in 20 extra sales? Just doing rough math in my head here. And my answer at the end of Q4 was no. I started out doing it an hour a week at myself. I didn't really see much improvement, and it was a pain in the butt trying to do the review requests myself. So I went in with feedback 5. I trialed them out, and I said, okay, I'm going to trial them out for 3 months. I pulled the numbers at the end of 3 months and went, holy smokes, I'm paying $30 a month. So I paid $90 for this experiment. And at the end, I had, I think, a total of 47 reviews.
Yeah.
So 47 reviews cost me $2 a piece. Is that worth it or not? Probably not, because I think most of those that I got were organic, not driven by feedback 5. But I did a video on it. Anyhow, at the end of the day, I set a goal. I set a very specific time frame. If you're using the SMART goal technique, it's very specific time frame. And at the end, I evaluated it and either keep it or cut it. And feedback 5 had to go. They didn't like that part, but they had to go.
One
Now
of
that's
Mhm.
I was just gonna say that's not to say feedback 5 is terrible. It's not like I'm not saying it's a bad program. I'm just saying that it didn't result in the sales that I needed to see to keep it on board. I did the same
Mhm.
with Be Cool. I did the same with Inventory Lab. I tracked, okay, this is how much I'm making with before the software. And then I saw an immediate, like huge jump in sales and turnover and velocity and profits when I added those two softwares to my business. So I can honestly say like they made a big impact. And then the other one I was going to say was something. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me another time. The thoughts come in, the thoughts go out. We'll move on. As you go deeper into 2023, remind yourself it takes roughly 66 days to form a habit. I need to keep this one in my mind here because I'm one of those things that I'm like, I want to go to the gym and after one workout, I want to see myself lose 5 pounds. It's 66 days to get that habit in. So if you are trying to source more or do something or, adding some sort of habit to your day, don't be surprised if it takes a while. You've got to be very diligent for the first 66 days to get that habit ingrained.
Which is 9 weeks, it says.
Oh, is that where does it say that?
So for the next 9 weeks.
Oh, okay. So did you put your goals up too?
I
Yes.
did.
All right. My goals for 2023 after analyzing 2022 is focus more on bundles. I have gotten better ROIs and profits from my bundles. They're some of my top selling things. I enjoy them. They make me smile. I'm happy with them. I'm going to try and hit 750,000 in sales this year. I need to get up to about 80,000 in sales per month by summer. That's going to be a tough one. I'm honestly a little worried about that one. I need to do it. It's got to be done. My new warehouse is costing me an arm and a leg. I'm still not on the fence whether I liked moving in here or not. I love the space. I don't like the price tag. I'm going to focus on intentions, manifestations, daily meditation, and exercise. Haven't started the exercise really. And then on a side note, outside of this, I'm going to expand my crypto investments to hopefully be making 10,000 a month off of that by the end of the year. And that's another lofty goal that I may or may not. I'm debating on that one if it's too lofty or not.
And my goals they're really tiny, aren't they?
I know.
Um,
How did you? I can't see that.
my
There, I go back.
my my
Oh, that didn't
made
help.
them so tiny. So um, these are some of my goals: is growing our Facebook community, and it's because I love the community and I love building the relationships within our Facebook groups that we run. That just feeds my happy soul, Um, I also want to have more focus on my bundles and my branded listings. I have been doing them for years, but I'm a little bit lazy. I mean, full confession, there's a little bit of lazy in me, and bundles take more work. And
Mhm.
doing bundles correctly takes more work. And it is just a lot easier to list the item that I found and create the listing and throw it up there because I'm in a hurry to get it out. And then I've just opened myself for everybody else jumping on it and price tanking it. And bundles take more time and focus to do correctly. And every time I've done that, they're great. So I'm sometimes my own worst enemy with my bundles. So I want to focus more on not being lazy with those. For personal, of course, healthy eating is always there. Daily prayer and visualization, exercise, and my daily routine. I've been getting back into work life and health balance, and I've been really killing it so far for 2023. I have been doing a morning exercise 5 days a week, and I track my iWatch, my little circles that go around there. For any of you that have the Apple Watch, my fulfilling my completed circles motivates me. So I went from barely completing the circles to now I'm halfway or almost 75% away around of completing my circle. That motivates me. And I have been really focusing on the healthy eating habits and my routine. My routine is so important. And I let myself last year just really get off of it. I had no structure and it showed. When you walked in my house, it wasn't as clean or as organized as I liked it. Um, Dishes might have stayed in the sink overnight, those little things that just irritate me. So I created us a grown-up chore chart. My husband and I have a grown-up chore chart, and every day I wake up, I do my prayer and my visualizing, then I do my exercising, and then next is chore, and then we begin work, and work starts at 9 a.m. And this is what I did for the first several years after I had quit my job, and it worked for me. I had such balance in my life and it made me happy. Last year, I didn't do any of those things. I just let everything fall apart. And I think I let myself get overwhelmed with starting the YouTube channel, starting the Facebook group, doing all these other things that I didn't know how to balance it all. And I feel like I'm really back on track in 2023. And this year, I really want to focus more on creating content and filming. I do like doing the YouTube, but I don't take the time. And that is where I fell short in talking about not comparing yourselves to others. I was comparing myself to Lucy when we talk. I'm like, I just don't know how you keep up with all these things and then film all this YouTube stuff too. I'm like, it's 4:30 and I'm already ready to take a nap. So, I can only keep up with me. I can't keep up with Lucy and how many videos she puts out there. And, because
It's
who's it
all
benefiting?
streamlining.
It's
You
right. Yeah,
can.
it's
You
not
just
benefiting anybody. And then one of my big accomplishments last year was teaching my husband how to do from A to Z a whole shipment. The way we've done it since he's been home with me full time is I do half of the work by putting things into inventory lab and that side of it, and as his end he was printing off labels, packing, and then I was doing the box content. So it's like it was a well-oiled machine. But I thought, you know what, if I want to go out for a day of shopping and he's going to stay home, I need him to do from point A to Z alone, and so he can do point A to Z alone. And so that frees me up time. It empowers him to have more responsibility. And so that was something that worked for us. And my husband is very motivated. And so this year my goal is to teach him truly how to do product research. He already knows how to read Keepa and scan and do things like that, but to really deep dive into it and to grow our Etsy business. And I want to do those things because I want higher monthly profits coming in my house, and I want to build a fatter retirement portfolio. And last for me in 2023 is I really want to expand the coaching that we've been doing. I really enjoy doing coaching with the people and helping them. And it's a little cute to me, sometimes the questions they ask or the things they do, because I was them and I had those same questions. And so it feels good to be the person that gives them that relief. Like, oh, that's all. Thank you so much for helping me. That feels good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Nice. All right. I loved this one. Don't be embarrassed of your situation. Half of these people are covering up the same situations with filters and smiles. Make a plan, cut off the distractions, stay focused, and execute consistently. You'll make it, I promise. And this one I loved because I always, in my kids' elementary years, I had a friend, and she was friends with this other lady. And this other lady, I wouldn't say we were friends, but we were all on the help the school board, the PTA and stuff. And anyhow, this other lady would treat my friend pretty horribly. And so my friend would always be saying about how horrible her life was, and all of the drama going on in this lady's life. And to this day, this lady still posts pictures, and her pictures are so filtered, I wouldn't be able to recognize her in real life if I just knew how she looked on from Facebook. So every time I see her, she sometimes pops up in my feed, and I'm going, oh my God, if you have to filter your life that much, that is just, it's sad. It's sad, but I don't know. So this just really hits home for me, because when I do see other people making it or posting or, showing their amazing vacation of whatnot, you don't know the story behind there. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not good, but just don't take it to heart. Like, just focus on yourself, cut out those distractions. Don't worry about what the Joneses are doing, and sit there and focus on your goals and what you're doing. All right. I want to put my favorite books from 2020.
You really like that one. You circled it hard.
That's the cover.
Oh, it is? I thought you did like the...
No. They're taking like, if your life is like this, then you're going to make it. You're just going to do.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the book cover.
I was like, she really liked this one.
So these have been kind of my favorite. I'm still reading Rigging the Game. Goals I retouched and kind of refreshed my mind with this year. Atomic Habits, really a super good one. And all of these, I've really been loving the Cliff Notes types of synopsises on YouTube. If you just go to YouTube and you're like Atomic Habits book summary, you'll find a 20-minute video, or roughly a good video that will kind of go through and give you the highlights of what it is. And so if you just need to, maybe you're not ready to buy it, you just want to get a synopsis of it, and or if you've already bought and read it, because a lot of these are at the library too. I'm a big library person. I rent. Is it rent? No, I check out a lot of books at the library. What was one? One was recommended Traction on business running, and I'm like, okay, that sounds good, like Traction and all of that. Well, I did the 20-minute audiobook, and then I listened to it. I'm like, yeah, not really for me, because it was all on getting your team, your management team, ready to go for production. It's me here. Like, I don't have a management team. Who am I going to go down and do these activities with? I'm glad I saved my $20 and didn't buy that book, because I'm not there. Now, if I grow into a company that has 6 management teams and I'm talking with the director of HR, then that book would make sense. But anyhow, these were my tops for here. Essentialism was probably my most favorite. If I had to pick one, I would go with that one.
See?
Lots of times like that. But really love that one. I have been focusing on Atomic Habits, Essentialism, and the Eisenhower, which I think is my next slide. Yeah, the yes. Eisenhower Decision Matrix, to kind of map out and really use as a day-to-day chart for figuring out what I'm going to do in life. And I went through, I didn't add that slide here, but I went through my chart of everything I do. Let's see here if I remove that. And mapped out all of my Amazon activities into the 4 streams here. And now I can have this at my desk. I'm still playing with it. Some things I look at and I'm like, well, maybe that could, maybe I could really delegate that, and it's in my decision making pile. But got it printed out, been working on that. I'm doing a whole vlog on this week. So today will be my last vlog on it. But as the days have gone through, I've done a 5-day work week vlog on incorporating essentialisms, habits, and the Eisenhower decision matrix. And that will come out next week. But really loving that. I liked this one too. This one spoke to me. The only guy who isn't rowing has time to rock the boat. Yeah. If people are just out there rocking boats, man, they're not rowing. Get rid of them. Get them out of your life. Now I put my numbers up. Did you add your numbers?
No, all I did was the one sheet. Look, I didn't sleep good, and I woke up late.
Just asking. This is my main sheet of numbers. So if you ever wanted to see, like, where did I start? What am I doing? How did I grow or not grow? These are the actual numbers, sales month over month for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 years. And they are what they are. What you don't see is when my father died. What you don't see is when my house flooded and I had 6 months of renovations in my house. What you don't see is when I've had bad years and good years, mentally, physically, whatever. I went through 2 foot surgeries, a shoulder reconstruction, my dad's death. Switching to homeschool with my daughter was a big switch. Switching to high school this year, moving into a warehouse. So you don't see all these events in the numbers. But if you're ever interested in, like, what is somebody's real world, like what did they do number wise, you can see that I have progressively grown over the years. And you can see my December months are kind of fun to look at: 4, 13, 16, 15, 24, 61, 74, 62. I did not do Q4 shopping until 2020. That I was in the mentality of, I don't want to get into that craziness. I don't understand it. I don't see it or understand it. I'm just going to do me. And I didn't do it. And that was fine. And it was very good for my family. Those were years that we spent going, we don't, what do you call it? We took the kids to my family's house and spent a good chunk of time with family during those years because the kids were younger. Now that they're older, and my dad passed in 2019. So this was the month he passed in. So of course it's going to look pooey because it was a bad month. What do I say? I was in the hospital most of that month. Kate says, we don't see who was doing the laundry in 2021.
Kate, are you still doing laundry? We see you, Kate, and we appreciate that you're doing the laundry.
Here it is in a growth chart. So sometimes I like to print this out and put it on there and be like, this is where I came from, man. It's my chart. It's my numbers. I can see which years did good, which years did bad, why did they do good or bad? This is the year I finally got a packer, 2019. Finally got a packer to help me out, and it wasn't until like August. So, of course, from 2019 to 2020, you should see a huge increase because that's when I started bringing on staff. And should it have been more? Should it have been less? You got to look at the hours, and they were part-time. So, anyhow.
Kate has 7 baskets of clean laundry to put away. Kate, you either have a very big family, darling, or you have not done your laundry in a long time.
A lot of laundry.
I had a family of 4 for years, and sometimes I would have that much laundry, especially when I was doing sheets as well.
Yeah, we've had a rough laundry week this week. I don't want to get into it because it's all gross stuff, but when you have animals, things happen. All right. Red is this year, blue is last year. So this is another chart that I like to compare my numbers to. Last year, what did I do? And what did I do this year? I wish I had the months. Let's see, January, February, March. April is when I moved into my new place. And so going forward from April, it was a rough go moving into the warehouse. And I brought on a packer that was awful. I had a really rough July. But looking at my month comparisons, just seeing what's going on there. Now, this is one that I will talk about. some people see this and go, oh my God, you did better last year in Q4. How come you didn't do better this year in Q4? Well, this year I was more specific on how much profit per item I was going to make. I can tell you this difference right here was Reese's Pieces Christmas trees. I sold maybe 300 of them the previous Q4 at about whatever, $8, $9 a piece, but I only made $1 or $2 off of them. So I cut those types of things out. But when you're going, 300 times, what did I say, 9, whatever that is, that's a huge, huge number. And that's what this is accounting for. So when I look at this, I don't see it as bad. I see, okay, I got more profit per item and I did less work. So to me, better. But sales on the board, it looks like I did better last year. Do you see what I'm saying? So all of the numbers you've got to be able to say, okay, what's the story behind it? You don't see when I hired that packer that drove me crazy and I feel like I lost 3 weeks of my life in the summer because he drove me nuts. And I know I lost productivity and we had a lot of issues. So anyhow, results are more important than your comfort zone.
Well, because getting results, sometimes you have to step out of the comfort zone. One of my mottos always was, and when I was raising my boys, I used to always tell them, do it afraid. Do it afraid, because you're going to be afraid because you've never done it before. Now, some people just jump right in and you're not afraid. I was that little kid. My grandma, one of her favorite stories about me was when it was the first day of kindergarten. All the other kids were crying, hanging on to their parents' leg. They didn't want to go in. Well, we had gone to the kindergarten classroom the day or two before because the teacher welcomes you. So, before your first day of school, you kind of know where to go. I did not want to be walked to kindergarten. My grandmother, she pulls up in the car and the door was like right there. And I told her, you stay there. I wanted to confidently walk into kindergarten all by myself. I was that kid that wasn't afraid. But there were times I was afraid. When I was learning to swim, I was scared to death to jump off of the big diving board, the really tall one that goes into the deep end. That even though it was still the deep end water, I was more comfortable jumping off the standard diving board. And I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. And one day my mom just threw me right in. And so some people might think that that's cruel, right? Let me tell you, my mother knew me. And right after that, I got out of the water. I was like, oh, it was fun. What did I do the rest of that day? I jumped off the big, tall diving board. So sometimes you have to do it afraid, or you have to push yourself, if you don't have your mother, being the person behind you pushing you anymore. But sometimes we do have to leave our comfort zone to get the results, is the moral of that story.
I've got 2 stories. One involves my dad. My dad was up here with my mom, and Derek was a little baby. It was years and years ago. But anyhow, we went out to dinner, and then there was this place that had rentals for sailboats. And he's like, I want to rent a sailboat. And we're like, okay, that would be fun. And anyhow, so we rent a sailboat, and the sailboat guys, an hour is this, 2 hours that. And we're like, okay, we'll do 2 hours at sea. And the guy's like, oh, have you driven a boat before? And it had a motor. So like we weren't sailing, but it had a motor. And my dad's like, oh, yeah. So I looked at him weird and I'm like, okay. So we get out and we get on the boat and the guy leaves. And I said, Dad, when have you like driven boats around? He goes, oh, I haven't. My mom hunkered down in the hull and she's like, oh my God, we're going to die. We didn't die, but it was close. We had no idea what we were doing, but it was.
Was that ego speaking or confidence,
Well, I was like, yeah. He's like, how hard could it be?
He was manifesting. He had the right mindset.
Okay. This year, my out of comfort zones were taking my accounting class, going back to a college to increase my knowledge. I am not comfortable with it. I still am. I'm trying to be more comfortable with finances and the terminology with finances and running a business in that business world. And it honestly scares me because I'd never done anything really with it. And just learning that has been getting myself out of my comfort zone and learning that. And of course, moving into my warehouse, I have no idea what's going on. I'm learning, of course. I'm not.
It's empowerment when you confidently know something.
Yeah, it is. And you're really not going to know it until you do it. And I'm still on the fence whether I like moving into this warehouse or not. I've learned a ton. and I've had the most unexpected problems, and I've had the most unexpected, positives as well. So it is a complete learning, but I could just be sitting at home going, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. There's no book on like how to move into a warehouse and how to expand your business that's going to be perfect for you. I mean, I read a lot of books, as you can tell, but nobody's going to give you a manual to life, or your children. Children don't come with a manual either. I found out when I have gotta go. And really, what's that saying? If it's work, it's not something if it works. It's not wrong if it works. You got to find out what
Or
works.
don't fix it if it's not broke, kind of a
Yeah, don't
thing,
fix it
right?
if it's
Well,
not
look, when
broke.
you move into a house, so when you move into your first house, second house, whatever,
Mhm.
you don't know the repairs that are around the corner. When you walk through and you look at it, it looks great, and you
Or you
move
get
in a
married.
month, huh?
Or if you get
Oh,
married.
yeah. Yeah, those first real fights where you realize like, oh, I can't just break up with you and go home. You are in my home or whatever. Yeah, this is just life. This is
Oh,
life.
so
I think one of my I don't know that it's a do it afraid, but like what pushed my comfort level this year was definitely YouTube. You've been doing this a long time, what, like 5 years already at the
something
time
like
that
that.
I jumped in and I thought, well, I don't really know how to talk to people on camera. And even the few videos I've done, that's been a learning curve. And I've said, but people already know you. They like you. What if they don't like me? I don't want to come live on YouTube and then be like, hey, Lucy, who's this weird girl you brought on? And I remember that was a big comfort thing for me to get over was, are people going to like me? Am I likable? Right. A lot of times we worry what others think of us. There can be 100 people in the room and 99 of them like you, but you're going to fixate on that one that doesn't, and you're going to let that one person ruin your day, right?
Yep,
So that was a
exactly.
hurdle I had to overcome this year.
Well, yeah. And let me tell you, whatever you start, it's going to fail. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate the first couple of things. If you're starting Amazon, you're going to make bad purchases. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have returns. You're going to not pack it right. You're going to have mistakes. But the next month, you're going to have less. And the next month, you're going to have less. If you want to start YouTube or any new thing, like my first videos were terrible. Probably my first 5 years up until in fact, I still don't even think they're great or amazing or anything like that. But I do them to keep up on my speaking skills, and I enjoy doing them. But they're not. There's never going to be a point where I'm thinking amazing. I mean, yeah, I hit over 500,000 in sales last year. Do I think that's great? No, I still look at it and go, oh my God, I didn't hit my goal. I am definitely my own worst enemy on that front. But I'm trying to be more positive on, okay, these are the positive things, and build that confidence. I've been reading a lot and listening to a lot of the confidence and the meditations on goals and being confident in your personality, taking things on and all of that. And I've also, on people who are out there that do come off as very confident, I have seen multiple people, and it just, when you start paying attention to it, you start logging it more, and you identify it more. But I have identified more and more people that I see them and I'm like, oh my God, they're so confident. And you start peeling away the onion and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I remember being at ASD with you. And I think it was this last August. And there was some guy talking with somebody, and man, he was like super confident and blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, oh, how many sales do you do here? And he's like, 80,000. And I'm going, oh shoot, that's like my monthly goal to get to is 80,000. And this guy's talking like he's the
Expert
town.
guru.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he knows everything about Amazon. And I'm going, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna just not pay attention to you anymore. I see this in a lot in the younger, I'll say the 20 to 30 age range, where they're, just talking out their rear, and then you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, you don't
Well,
know what
he is confident, when you're that
yeah,
young and you've done that much in sales a year, that's a lot to be proud of, you know.
exactly. Exactly. I'm just saying that some people that are confident, when you look at really how they're confident, it's what there's a picture of a kitty cat looking in the mirror, and there's a lion, and that's
Yeah, I
what.
love that. I love
Yeah,
that
I love
photo.
that one too. But Anyhow, thank
So
you.
is that confidence or is it ego at that point?
That's true. That's true. There is a difference. There is definitely a difference on that. Um, yeah, I have other stories, but they're probably not YouTube. They're more like if we're in a hangout or something, I'll share more stories, but not here. Some of them people will know who I'm talking about. Uh, Kate says, totally agree about the house. So much focus on a steady job, good credit, no testing of one
Mhm.
ability to manage a frozen water supply pipe, change
Mhm.
rip screens, change the HVAC.
HVAC filters. Yeah, I know that because my husband did HVAC for years. So I
Yeah.
have a guy that can fix my AC when it breaks. He
Hmm.
lives in my house.
Yeah, he's the man to know. All right, so we gotta move on here. I pulled. They're redoing the bushes outside. Keep seeing people working. Uh, Pulled my numbers. These are my numbers. My average sale price was, according to Inventory Lab, 1686. According to Amazon, 1672. They do run the numbers slightly different. If you ever analyze like how inventory runs number in Amazon, they calculate it slightly different based on returns and what is it called when somebody gets something broken? They send out a replacement. Replacements, returns,
What is it called when they
maintenance.
do that? A replacement?
So it's going to be calculated slightly different. And when they pull it, like when they count the sale shipping out or getting to the customer, anyhow, that's why you're never going to get them matched up 100%.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be that far off. Profit per item 340, average fees almost $8. Cost of goods 505. Return analysis, my average returns is 3.6%. And then I did pull all those sales. So a lot of people ask me, like, for forecasting, what is a basic way to get a forecast for your numbers? I'm going to share you a basic way, and then Tina and we're going to have a powwow today, right?
Yeah, in fact, I have my Google Sheet over to the side, and my average sale price for FBA was $17.17. I thought that was kind of funny, 17.17. My merchant fulfill was $16.40, but because of Amazon's fees, my average profit per item FBA this last year was $4.42. But with merchant fulfilled items, it was $7.23,
Nice.
despite having about $1 less per profit or per average sale price. Um, so I thought, that is interesting how, the big comparison between the two.
And just not ignoring you, Kate, I'm getting to you here. Kate says earlier that she is kind of leaning towards the smaller items that are easier,
Hmm.
that don't make big money, but are easy to pack, etc. Totally fine.
Hmm.
Totally fine. And because I have people packing for me. My labor is about $1 an item, give or take. It's fluctuated between as low as 60 cents per item, as much as $1 per item. So I have to take that into consideration. So if my profit margins are only $1 to $2 and I'm already paying $1 to pack it out, I need to focus and get higher items if I have that choice. If I don't have the items to pick from, then absolutely I got to source what I got to source. And then
And
she asked,
I was
oh,
going to say, interestingly enough, at the end of the year, when I was doing clothes, I used to have the higher ROI per item and the higher sales price. Um, but there were so many fees and returns that when I
mhm,
kind of switched my model to bundles, while maybe that average price profit per item was lower, I was still making a little bit more. So,
mhm,
those are stories that are always like, well, wait, how is this happening? So that's why it
yeah,
is so important to look at, what is it that you're doing and what is working, what's less work for the same amount or more money.
exactly. I did a ton of bras in previous years, but when COVID hit, my source for bras really
Hmm.
dried up. I couldn't find bras to make any money. I was getting them. In fact, like Ross just did their big clearance yellow tag thingy, but I was getting bras for $3.99 all day long at Burlington and selling them for 25. Well, Burlington jumped their prices to $11.99, and Amazon's on all the listings. So
And look, during COVID, nobody was wearing bras, so you wouldn't have sold them
is that why?
anyway.
Ah, So she also asked, does your business model shy away from small and light? We forgot to plug that this morning. Go fix your small and light, people.
Yes.
It's now up to $12. And no,
And that
I
was
still
on the
love
17th it began. So yes, go through your inventory. Anything that is considered small and light, priced at $12 or less, please add that to your
yeah.
account. And no, Kate, our business model does not shy away from small and light. I love small and light. Some of my top performers are items that are in the small and light category.
Absolutely. Um, and then also go through your items in your repricer or whatnot. And if your top was $9.99, go bump those up to, I think I did $11.99. I like the 99 instead of 12 even, but
Yeah.
11.99 on anything that was my max at 9.99, bump it up to 11.99 so that your repricer, if people come in and start bumping up, hopefully we'll all get up there. And that we just really need to take in account to what do you call it? Inflation, man. Inflation's been a big old problem this last year. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
it's been
That was the
rough.
biggest nemesis in my business. And if it was for me, it was for all of you too. It just
Oh yeah.
was.
Which you can't see. I mean, you'll see that sales are great, but your profit margin went down because you're paying more and getting less. And Amazon upped their fees. So
That was my biggest takeaway when I ran my numbers. And that was the story that it told that I didn't like. That was the ugh moment for me. Like I wasn't happy with what I saw. And that's why I tell you all, even if you're not happy with what you see, pull it anyway. On the good news though this year, some of those reprints that I had, and because of the inflation, and yet it was still selling for the same on Amazon, or there were price tankers, some of my items are now finally reflecting the sale price on Amazon with conjunction of what my new product cost is costing me. So I think in 2023 we're going to finally see that shift back to where we are profiting what we should be, because the prices on Amazon are slowly starting to reflect the inflation that we are also getting it at. So I mean, that's some good news.
all right, how to calculate how many units you need to sell per day. And this is a rough guide. I pulled it from somebody. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Nathan at Hustle Buddies. So great group. I'm not affiliated with him, but I should, at some point, I should run into him and be like, hi, I love your group. A lot of good content over there, a lot of good members over there as well. But, and I don't remember where I pulled this from. I pulled it, God, years ago. So how to calculate how many units you need to sell in a day. Take your desired income. Then if we assume an average net profit of 20%, multiply it by 5, then take that number and divide it by the average profit you sell things for, and this is how many units you need to sell. So this is a good way to forecast. Tina and I go into more in depth because I have YouTube and we have crypto and we have our BOLO and bundle groups. And then I also have, she has a lot of Etsy. I have other things as well. So when we look at our business as a whole, we're going to put a lot of things in. But just for Amazon, this is a good, easy guideline, I guess. It's a simplistic guideline. I also, just a side note, go in and add 20%. So when I get this units that I need, say it's 100 units, I'm going to add 20% because I notice you send some things and you're going to have not dirts, derples, turds, duds is the word I'm looking for. I combined duds and turds into my thing and did birds. Anyhow, sorry.
Look, she has her own dictionary. It's like we need a book, words according to Lucy.
Well, I'm trying not to curse. Because I'm trying to keep everything. I always wanted to have videos that you could run at work or you could run while your kids are playing and everything like that. But if you meet me in real
life,
naughty
words.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do naughty words and have your child go, wait a minute, what is that word? But anyhow, I like to add 20% because you always have duds in your price tanking, duds, compliance paperwork, anything like that. And my average I have pulled over the years, and it's about 20%. All right, so here's 2 examples. If you want to make $8,000 a month, you're going to take 8,000. The other thing is that 20%, if you run lower margins, like if you're doing all the small and light, Kate, this is for you, you may want to do that by 10%. So you would multiply your number by 10.
Now,
Don't know what
before you jump into these numbers, for those watching, are you talking about you need to make $8,000 a month gross or net? Because this is what's important.
net.
Net. So that's, what you're going to be taking home.
Correct. That's what
Hmm.
you're going to be taking home. And again, when you're looking at these numbers and you have that profit based, like my average profit does not include my warehouse or my staff. It's just whatever you put into inventory lab. So that's that's huge, huge, huge when you are looking at these numbers. And why this is like a generalization type of calculation, because right now I do, what did I say about $3.48 per item? Yes, absolutely, Kate. We'll go over this again. So if you want to calculate how much you need to sell and you want to make, in the first example here, they're talking about 8,000 a month. Does that 8,000 a month include bags, boxes, staff, third-party packing centers? What kind of fees does that include? And that's going to be based on what you pull from inventory lab and what you've put into inventory lab. If you calculate your cost of goods with your lotion, and your lotion, that cost of goods includes the gripper tape and the poly bag and the labels and your software per month and your inventory lab payment per month and all of that, then you don't have to account for that. If you're saying I need 8,000 plus I need to pay rent, then that's different. It just depends on where you put those numbers. Some people use inventory lab and they put all their numbers into inventory lab. They put their rent, they put their power bill, they put their, gas and all of that in there. I don't. So my inventory, my cost of goods literally includes the item and just what I paid for that item. It does
We
not.
incorporate our shipping cost also in our items. So if these were online orders that had a shipping cost associated with it, or wholesale accounts that had your freight and your shipping cost, what I do when I get those invoices or a receipt that has the shipping charges, I then multiply that, or I mean divide that by how many items are in that shipment,
Mhm.
so I can have an even number to tack onto each and every item. So if the shipping broke down to be 21 cents per item, then the item that was $20, it now becomes a cost of good of $20.21. So I always incorporate that shipping cost into the base cost of my item.
Exactly. Exactly. So in this example up here, that 8,000 a month, if I were doing it for my business, I would say, okay, that 8,000 a month, I either need to say that's what I want to make and then I need this to run, or that's what I need to make and then I'm going to subtract what I need to run my business and the rest I take home. So in this 8,000 example, I would take away my rent, my power, my inventory lab, my Be Cool software, my labor, any other expenses that are associated with the office, and then what I would take home would be the what's left. Or I could take all of that, what it costs me run my business per month, and tack it on to the $8,000 that I want to make, and then calculate it out. So Facebook user says, do you incorporate a poly bag into the cost of goods or general business expense? Mine is done under shipping expenses on my P&Ls that are run in QuickBooks. So it is captured there. You don't want to capture it both. So in this example, let's say you pay for a poly bag 10 cents and this was a $3 item. You could either say this item was $3.10, or I take all that poly bags and it's run in a different line item on QuickBooks. So that's how I do it. You don't want to do it both. You don't want to say, oh, my cost of goods has that in there and I want to write off all my shipping supplies over here. One or the other. You don't want to double dip. So in this example, if you want to make $8,000 a month, you're going to times it by 5, so 40,000, and then your average profit 3.5, $3.50. You're going to divide 40,000 by 350, and you're going to say that you need to move 11,000 units.
Per month.
11,028. Now,
And so then you want to divide that either by week or by day. And you can use that as like your shopping template. Like I know that I need to buy this many units a day to hit this goal, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What is not added in here that I'm just going to shout out, so that if you guys are doing this and walking through things to think about, I would add 20% to this number, like I said, because you have 20% DERPs.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, you're not going to if you send in 11,000 items this month, you're not going to sell all 11,000. You need to build up your inventory. So your inventory valuation needs to be at a point where 11,000 come in and 11,000 go out, and you got to build up to that point. So does that make sense? The average, or what I've heard is the rule of thumb is you sell about 2% of your inventory every day. So where did my calculator go? Is my calculator, do you see my calculator? No.
No.
Oh, I hate the StreamYard made it really crummy. But all right, in my calculator world, you would, let's see here, 10,000, if you have 10,000 units, 2% per day would be 200 units per day. And if you made $350 per that unit, you would be making $700 per day. Again, you can sit there with the calculator and crunch numbers all day long, but if you send in 11,000 units per month, it's going to build up, and eventually you'll be rotating that amount out. Hopefully, that's the idea. Unless a compliance paper comes in and kills half your inventory, which we've seen them get terrible. But in example number 2, need to make 2,000 per month. So let's just say this is a side hustle, or even 2,000 a month is not too shabby to live on. And you again are going to multiply it by 5. That's $10,000. Average profit $2 an item. So you're doing more of the smaller items, which is fine. You're going to divide that out, and it gets 5,000 units per month. So again, I would go and add 20% to this, and you've got to build up to where that is flowing through, and you've got enough units in your inventory that 5,000 are selling every month. I am currently, if anybody is wanting to know, I am currently between 3,500 units and I'll say 45 to 5. That's something I didn't pull. I didn't pull this for this one, but I would say right around that number is where I am at. And I have about 50,000 in inventory. Yeah. I didn't pull any of my numbers for this, Tina. I wish my calculator popped up. Let's see here. 50,000.02 is 1,000. That doesn't make sense. Did I do too many zeros? 1, 2, 3 times 0.02. Yeah. 50,000 times 0.02 is $1,000 a day in sales, which is about right. I need to get that up, though. I want to get that to about double. All right. Everybody good on this? Are you good on this? Do you have anything to add on this?
You covered it.
Huh?
I said, nope, you covered it.
All right. So what Tina and we will do is we go and we rip apart our numbers. We use this as kind of like a guideline, and then we add our own tweaks to it because, like I said, we have some different aspects of our business. And, obviously our numbers are different, but I know my average profit. I know my rough profit per item, or, ROI range. And we will crunch the numbers. And then I take these numbers and I literally put them on the board for my staff. So they actually have that over there, and I have it now on my board up here. So we have our goals going forward into next year. So, and I told them, I'm like, okay, we need to hit this number. We're not going to hit it today, but we need to get up there. Like, I don't expect y'all to kill it right off the bat, but this is where we need to be in the next couple of weeks. And they understand that. At least I hope they understand.
Yes.
They nodded their head and they said, we understand.
They know that that's their goal, is to pack up that much stuff per week. So,
and I broke it
I'm
out.
sure they don't care about the money number behind it. They just know that that's their goal, is to pack up this many things.
Yes.
And that's all they need to know.
Exactly. And then on the packing, our packing spreadsheet, they add the batch numbers at the end of whenever they get a batch done, they add it to inventory or they add it into the spreadsheet. And, then I have it tallied. So, I could bring that up too, maybe when we're done here, but, that works. And then what I did was I took how many we need to get out per week. I took their hours, because one works 5 days a week, one works 3 days a week. I took the hours and then calculated it so I could say, you need this amount and you need this amount, because if you work 2 extra days, obviously you need to produce more, right? And it sounds so bad when I talk about numbers, and luckily they're not here. I can talk about them needing to be productive, but and if they're not hitting those numbers, I need to figure out why. Either I need to go after more profitable items, because if you have more profitable items, you don't have to send in as much, right? If you make $4 off something versus two, you can send in half as much.
Right, and you could have one packer versus two, but having a packer, having a person, we have found by looking at Lucy's numbers, is that it is cheaper than a prep center to hire someone to have them pack for you.
Exactly.
I have a packer, it's my husband, so luckily I don't have to bring in anyone from the outside, but I'm not against it, you know.
Did you always use QuickBooks? If not, when did you incorporate it? I did spreadsheets for 4 months until it was clearly apparent that I am terrible at tracking my numbers and doing it. It was a big pain in the butt. So about 4 months in, I started QuickBooks, and I did whatever the lower end peoples do. And then after that, I got my CPA right around that 2019. 2019 is when I brought on Packers and I hired my CPA. So that is that. All right. I want to talk about energy and manifestations and intentions, and kind of my focus on it this year on changing my mindset. Because I'm finding more and more that your mindset is like 100 times more important than anything else. This little meme says energy is transferable, so be careful of the company you keep. Dirt will rub off on white before white will rub off on dirt. And I don't know, it was the best that I could find this morning on kind of incorporating this. But back to who you hang out with and the mindset you keep is really important. I listened to this really good, there's a lot of good podcasts and YouTubes out there, but it was really good on going over the difference between like your goals and your intentions. And what they said is if you sit there and let's say your goal is to lose weight, and you just sit there with your mantra of my goal is to lose weight, my goal is to lose weight, or my goal is to make more money, my goal is to make more money. We'll use that one because that's what most of us want, right? More money. And what you're focusing on though, mentally, is that you don't have enough money. That's what your mind is saying is I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. That's why my goal is to have more money. Whereas if you set your intentions to, let's see here. What's a good one? I have them printed out on my board over here. I have everything I need for success. You're going to focus on success. And that's the difference. In a nutshell, I've saved you a whole 20 minutes of reading, between the difference between the goals and the manifestations. And I'm like, that's what I need. Because I sit here and I tell myself I need more money. And that's what my mantra was. And it was always this constant, like, just out of reach. And I'm going, oh, because I'm looking at it wrong. I need to say I have everything I have for success. I shared let me just bring it up. Where'd my little clicker? Got to click. There we go. This is what I have on my board. This is the website, Sarah's Scoop. She has 100 powerful examples of not infestations, intentions and manifestations. And I will link that into the chat here in just a second, if I can find it. Let's see here if I can navigate now. I cannot navigate, but I will get the link here in just a minute. So
maybe go do that.
My intentions are, I can't type in chat either.
I can do the link.
Okay, you do the link. Thank you, ma'am. My intentions are to manifest abundance in all area of life. Live each day with joy, love, enthusiasm, surrounded by positive energy, like-minded people. Work towards profitable business. I love this one. Profitable business decisions daily. Travel to interesting and exotic places. Love and accept myself unconditionally. Release all fears and limiting beliefs. Clear my energy and release negative thoughts and emotions. You can read the rest here. But what I did was I went to her site because I cannot come up with these myself. I'm terrible on that creative side. And I was like, I don't know. I need some help. So if you need some help, click on her link. And I just went through, and out of 100, I pulled every one that I absolutely loved, and I put it on my wall so that I can change my mindset for 2023 and start manifesting the abundance and attracting.
And you could use these as your daily word for the month,
Exactly. I loved all the grateful ones. That's part of my morning, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Mantra?
The word just jumped out of my head. It's a tough one.
Intentions? I
No.
don't know.
When you
It
sit
says
there and you
meditate?
thank you, meditate. Charades.
Lucy's struggling with words
I'm
today.
struggling today. We all are there. It's Friday though. It's so Friday. And it's not Friday the 13th. We had fun with that one. Okay. So really, really love this because if you sit there and you focus on how blessed you are, you're going to start seeing more blessings
Blessings in your life. It's all about mindset. You can walk into Marshall's and say, I just never find anything in Marshall's, and you're not going to. You
Exactly.
can walk into Marshall's and be like, oh, we always get so lucky when we go, to the kids' toy section of the store, whatever it is. We just always walk out with at least, 5 things. And then you'll go in there and you might find 5 things that day.
I listened to one podcast that was really good, and they said, your body is in tune and listening, and that's one of the things that I've been much better at since, when I was in my 20s. I was terrible at it, but I've been better. And they said, if you sit there and you focus like, oh my gosh, I need a day off, I need a day off, I need a vacation, your body listens to that. And next thing you know, you're sick because your body's like, we're giving you a vacation, you can go sit in bed. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Every time I've felt that I'm overworked and I need a vacation, I get sick, I get ill. But if you change that mindset, you play.
Two funny little shares about the thrift store, this month is that I had a favorite curling iron that I love. It's called the In Styler. It's like motorized, and I love this dang curling iron. And mine finally died. And I was like, oh, my favorite curling iron. So I go into the thrift store. Was this like 2 weeks ago? I even messaged you. I could not believe it. I didn't go in there looking for my curling iron. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I have really, truly been working on my mindset this year. I mean, like I am on fire about it. And whenever I take a donation to the thrift store, of course, I like to walk through it to find things that I could possibly flip on eBay. One of the sections I always check for eBay selling is blow dryers, curling irons, hot rollers, because that's the industry I came from. So I know what people like. And when I happen to go over to that section, because I will find very expensive blow dryers and curling irons to flip on eBay, I go over there and lo and behold, what was hanging there? My curling iron, the one that I had that died, but in a different color and in brand new condition, not the one that's at the Goodwill with the other people's gunk still on it. And I mean brand new. We went to Goodwill yesterday, and during Christmas, I was looking for Conair used to make these shaving can warmers for men's shaving cream, and it's a little plug-in device. You put your shaving can on it, and the lather spits out warm. And I thought they still made them. We couldn't find them anywhere. I thought it would be a fun thing to get my uncle for Christmas. And so I started looking for them online. You couldn't find them. Well, I found used ones on eBay or even newer, like old ones in a box, and they were going for like $45, $50. So I didn't buy one. What did I find yesterday in the Goodwill? I kid you not. And I paid less than $4 for it. Brand new in box, a Conair shaving can lather warmer machine. Now, my intent wasn't to go in there and find that either. And of course, Christmas is over, and the box was, pretty shelf damaged with the old store clearance sticker on it for whatever the person had paid, but the contents inside brand new, still like in the little plastic bag. And that's exactly what I bought. I left the Goodwill yesterday with only that. And is it my mindset? Is it dumb luck? I don't know, but all I know is this year things have really been going my way.
I have had similar this month. 2 stories. I had my supplier short me on some Valentine's Day candy. I mean, they just were like, yep, you're not getting it. Screw you. Thanks. Thank you. I love it that you didn't tell me that. And then you waited 3 days to email me. But anyhow, my intent or instead of saying, oh, I'm so upset about my supplier, blah, 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 and I got shorted, all the negativity about it, I said, that's okay. I'm smart enough to come up with a more clever idea. And boom, I woke up and I'm like, shoot, okay, I got my idea and hammered it out, and we're going to get that all squared away. But the idea flew when I changed to a better mindset than a I can't do it mindset. And then similarly, my husband asked me for Christmas pillows for the couch in the living room. We have other pillows, and he's like, these aren't very Christmassy. If you see some Christmas pillows when you're out shopping, during Q4, grab them. And I'm like, okay, I'll keep my eye out for them. I saw some, man, do they want a lot for freaking pillows? $30 for like a little couch pillow for, like, what are these people smoking? No, I'm not paying no $30 for pillows. Anyhow, kept my eyeballs open, and found
Lucy-isms.
found some at Home Depot of all places. I had to go in there for something, and I found pillows on clearance for $3.48 a piece. I
There you
spent
go.
$7 and got 2 pillows, and problem solved. And they're cute. They had dogs on them, so of course they were just perfect for my house. All right, this is another thing that I want to talk about. Not that you guys need to believe in crystals or anything like that, but one of the things that I like is crystals. I'm wearing one today. But different crystals have different mindsets, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you truly like buy into this or not buy in this. We all believe in something, right? Some people are really religious. Some people love the crystals. Some people love luck. We have
I want the waving cat.
yeah, we got Chinese New Year this year. There's a lot of not stipulations. I can't do words today. Oh my God. Superstitions.
You believe in the healing energy of crystals or rocks or whatever.
Whatever it is you believe in, start incorporating that into your life. Because I tell you what, it doesn't matter if it really is true or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is if you believe it or not. If you are going to an interview and you feel that you've got your lucky socks on, you're going to incorporate that energy of, I'm feeling lucky, I've got my lucky socks on, and you're going to perform better during that interview. You're going to have a better chance of nailing that job. And whether you're attributing to that to your own psyche or the actual luck or whatever, it's going to be great. Now I have some lucky bamboo, and love my lucky bamboo. And there's, if you study feng shui, there's different places to put it in things. And at the time I got my lucky bamboo, it was, we were trying to have children or whatnot. And so I put it in the place for fertility. Well, bam, within 2 weeks I was pregnant. Now this was a long time ago. So immediately we're like, okay, now we need to move that somewhere else, because we don't, like, clearly, whether you believe it was that or not, that's up to you. And now I have it more facing towards, money manifestation. So I went through these guys, and I'm going to get me some, I have some citrine, anyhow, a mezzanite, tiger's eye, and just have them around my desk. And that is going to just help my mindset, whatever, again, you believe in. If you want to wear a cross or a star or, lucky bamboo, whatever it is, if it makes you feel more confident, if it makes you feel lucky, whatever it is, you're going to start seeing that positivity. And that's all it is. This is just driving positive into your life by surrounding yourself with positive stuff. So same with artwork. I love having, inspiring artwork around and things like that. So absolutely love it. What is Kate saying? Tina has Lucy's secret Dakota rings in her Etsy store to help her. Yeah. Tina can get me. Voice to chat's been terrible. The new update on the iPhone, the voice to chat is terrible. And so you're just going to have to interpret, Tina. The iPhone does not know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. When you set your goal status to on track and in range, I just love that little puppy. That guy makes me smile.
Hey guy.
He was perfect for an ending of positivity on here. But I've got on my wall, I've got my manifestations, my intentions. I've got basically this thing, the old one. I'm updating to this one so that I can make decisions in my business on a daily basis that in line with my goal. So I'm going through this and saying, okay, which ones make me the most money? That's what we're going to focus on. That's the light green here. And again, this will be shared later. And then I have put up a new whiteboard for this year, and I have my goals and what they are. And I've got Amazon total sales, items out, labor per item. That's a KPI that I like to look at. Cost of goods spent, inventory value, new bundles. I have a goal on how many new bundles I need to make every month. Fiverr, Bolos, bundles, crypto, YouTube. So I've got.
And some days I just have a goal of binge watching TV and doing nothing. Some days my goals are real easy.
Yes.
Who's with me?
Oh, absolutely. And that can even be on your day if you feel like you need a day of rest. Then map that out. Mine's going to be Sunday this week. We're going to go get new insoles at the mall and kind of have a little family day going to the mall, and I'm not going to be working. So um, that's my thing to look forward to. And then tonight I am not doing homework because I'm in accounting 202 now. So most nights I'm doing homework. But tonight I'm not doing homework because it's Friday and I love my Fridays and I'm playing my video games. Um, Absolutely love playing my video games. It just relaxes me and kind of gets my mind out of it and all of that good stuff. I was going to bring up the tracking. Yeah, we're not there yet, but this, let's see here. Can I share this? Yes, I think I can share this. All right, this is my tracking sheet. This part we kept from last year. That's what worked in our tracking sheet. The rest of it, we're not keeping track of it. Your schedule's making me tired. Yeah, it can. It definitely can be tiring, but I'm sure you have a lot to your schedule. I mean, you just did like what, 11 loads of laundry? That's tiring to me. I hate laundry. That's my worst. I hate laundry. If I ever make it rich, if I ever win the lotto, I will never fold laundry ever again in my life. That's like number one. The other one that my cousin came up with that I have to agree is I will wear a new pair of socks every day because there's nothing more luxurious than wearing a new pair of socks. And I'm like, that's a good one. If I ever win the
As in
lottery,
brand new or like
like
versus
brand
not changing them?
no, no. Every day you wake up and you put on a brand new pair of socks and you just throw them away
Okay.
at the end of the day. And then you don't have to fold
Okay.
them too. And I'm like, that's amazing. I'll probably donate them just because I don't want to fill up the thing. But I'm like, that's a really good if I won the lotto thing. We watch Blue Bloods on Friday night, date night. Awesome. Yeah, definitely schedule your downtime. So I've got our goals up here. We have not hit it. We were really close last week of hitting 10,066 items. I'm sorry, 10, not 10. 1066. We already know I can't tell. That's mine too. 365 days of new socks. Isn't that a good, like, I don't know. I just love that one. Then over here, I have it tallied. So we are only 30% to our goal this month, and it's already the 20th. So it's a work in progress. Hopefully next month it will be better. And by the summer, I need to be hitting that consistently. And then this is my Eisenhower. This is that sheet that I'm showing you right now, where I listed out everything, what I need to do now. And you can, a lot of these would be applicable to most people in Amazon. So you can screenshot this if you want. Nothing's proprietary here. It's all meant to share.
Just what you made it.
Yeah, this is just what I made up. What I did was I went down. I'm like, what the hell do I do all week? Okay, this is what I do. Then you have to go saying, is that important or am I just doing busy week? Like I was doing a lot of filing paperwork, and really, I can do this monthly. In fact, that's one that I came up. I haven't updated monthly. So really, paperwork ain't going anywhere. It's not doing anything. It's in a pile. Like I can file it monthly. I do not need to do that on a daily or weekly basis, even though that chore makes me feel like I accomplished something. Really, I didn't. I shuffle. I can't say the word, but I'm a professional blank shuffler. Ryan, starts with an S, ends with a T. But that is something that I felt I was doing with a lot of things. So needed to knock that out. Same with YouTube comments. I may change that to every other week. Right now it's just on Fridays. But does that really drive a whole lot of profit in my life? Not really. I mean, it's helpful. It helps me get video ideas. I incorporate it. We a lot of times do Q&A on Fridays, so good things like that. But stranded inventory, absolutely, that needs to be done on a frequency because that is inventory that's not up for sale, and you need to fix that. But could it be outsourced? Still working on that. And then down here, not important and urgent. These are things that I'm working on delegating to my person. And she is going to damage out things today. And she's been adding product to batches this week. And we've just been training on that to get it out of my realm and onto her sheet. Because really, I mean, if she enters in things, she knows how to enter stuff into an inventory lab batches. Things that weren't very good that I cut was sending offers on eBays and requesting reviews. Those were two chores that I'm like, doesn't make me any money, needs to go. Got to cut the fat, not water the weeds. That's a new mantra of mine too, is don't water the weeds.
And I
Okay.
will save money on socks because I go barefoot most of the time. I'm barefoot now. I prefer nothing on my feet. I'm a little bit of a hippie at heart.
I grew up like that, but my feet, I can't. I can't.
Oh,
I have
I'm a
too bad of
barefoot
arches.
girl. I walk outside barefoot to the mailbox. I love to be barefooted.
I would if I could. I'm with you there. Although it's a
All
little
right,
bit
for
colder.
those that hung out with us this whole time, thank you. We were on a long time today. I hope you guys got some value and are thinking about some of your own goal setting for 2023. And if it's anything that you feel like you want to publicly share, share it on the comments under the video, whether in Facebook or on YouTube, because I love hearing what your goals are. Got any parting words, Lucy?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Thank you everyone for joining. It was nice seeing you, Kate and Nate and Facebook users and Karen. I know Karen's probably working right now. She does a lot of work. Brenda, nice. Thank you for joining us. Swamp Picker, B. Hope you're still doing good out there, B. And let's see here. Thrift Reno, nice to see you in the chat as well. Jen Skelton, nice seeing you too. Wash hands. Thanks, ladies. Wash hands. Okay. I don't know what are washing hands. All right. It was nice seeing everybody. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend.
Yes. Bye.